Hey YouTube, this is Razor here. I'm going to be doing my Dinomist deck profile and Dinomist Perform Pal deck profile. So I've been fine-tuning this deck for several weeks now, and I feel like I've come across a really nice build. And I feel like this has a lot of potential in the meta to take down Monarchs, Kozmos, Burning Abyss, Mermails, all the rogue decks. So yeah, without further ado, let me go ahead and show you the deck profile. So we got in the main deck the one card scale completers, Joker and Monkey Board. Obviously the Joker can search the Monkey Board to complete your scales. So now we have the high scales, the 3 Get Turtles, 3 Lizard Draws. So obviously this is your Pot of Greed combo, and the reason why I run 3 of each is so that I increase the chances of having a Perform Pal and completing my scale with a Pendulum Sorcerer to be Pendulum Summoned. So if I Pendulum Summon the Sorcerer, I can just pop the scales and search my Pot of Greed combo if I didn't already get it off. And so that gives you, so not only do you thin your deck by 2 cards with the Pendulum Sorcerer searches, you get to draw 2 on top of that, which gives you a pretty good chance of drawing into your counter traps. So those are your Perform Pal engine. And then for the Dinomist engine, we run 3 Plesios and 1 Dinomist Rex. So these are your high scales for your Dinomist. 3 Plesios because obviously it's a burden of the mighty basically for your opponent for each Dinomist card you control. And it's very awesome when you have the setup late game, when you have all your Dinomist charges and your Dinomist in your Pendulum Zone and Monster Zone. So all their monsters just become really weak and easy to attack over. And speaking of attack, you run your 1 Dinomist Rex to attack over something, shuffle back any card because it doesn't target. So you can technically just attack something smaller and get rid of a big ship. And only 1 because obviously you don't want to Pendulum Summon him early game when you're trying to set up. So basically you want to concentrate more on the rank 4 plays. I don't run any rank 5s in the Dinomist because I feel like it just it gives you more brick hands, and yeah, you can open up Cyber Dragon Infinity, but I feel like that card isn't worth playing because it just ruins your rank 4 consistency. Then we run 2 Archfiend Eccentrics to round up the high scales. So here we're running basically we run 12 high scales, not including these. So we run 12 high scales and we run only 10 low scales because obviously with the Lizard Draws and the Archfiend Eccentrics, you pop themselves, so you can afford to run a little bit more of the high scales. So that rounds that up. Then for the lower scales, we run 3 Pendulum Sorcerers. Just the heart and soul of the deck. If you get this off, pop your scales, draw your Pot of Greed combo, or if you pop your Ariana Grandes, that's just really powerful. Search your counter traps. And then for the Dinomist, we run 2 Stegosaurs, 2 Terrans. These just help your Dinomist stay alive if you need to, keep a monster from, getting OTK'd. You can protect your monster from dying in battle or by card effect by just destroying it in the scale. And then 3 Ariana Grandes. I just call them that because, obviously there's a very close word association with it. So basically this is a very powerful card. It's your very useful low scale. If it's destroyed by either Sorcerer or a Nister, or even by battle, just search your counter traps, and just having this in the scale just makes all your Solemn cards for free, and it's just very good. It's so satisfying when you are Solemn Scolding a Kozmo pilot from even summoning it, so it goes to the graveyard rather than getting banished, and Ariana Grande says it's for free, so that's very powerful there. So that rounds up the pendulum monsters. Then for the exceed fodder, we run 2 sets of gadgets. 2 red, 2 green, 2 yellow. Now this is very useful because in pendulum decks, you don't want to obviously use your pendulums as exceed material if you can help it. So your gadgets can just make into Gear Gigant X to search a skill that you're needing for next turn, or just use them as fodder for your rank 4s. And then we run 1 Watchdog, Karakuri Watchdog, because it's a level 4 machine type tuner. So it's searchable by Gear Gigant X rather than playing the Luster Pendulum, which is harder to search with the Draco face-off being limited. And also, I don't want to run Master Pendulum and the Dracovolords to fit that in. So I feel like this is just a more close, tight-knit engine, because I only have to just run 1 card to get Ignister consistently versus running Face Off, running Luster Pendulum, which can only even be used for the Draco Slayer extra deck monsters. So Dinoster, Ignister, or the Magister Paladin. If I'm not making one of those, the Luster Pendulum becomes useless after you make Ignister with it. So at least with the Watchdog, you can just exceed with it if you need to. For the spells, we run 3 Dinomist Charge, the Tenki of the Dinomist deck, and it's very, very useful in the deck because if they try to Twin Twister you, your Dinomist Pendulums protect your Dinomist cards, including the charge itself. So if they try to Twin Twister you while you have Dinomist in the Pendulum Zone, the Dinomist can just negate that and just destroy one of itself, and then the charge will just recycle it back to your hand. And also, if you use Ignister and you have a big field, so obviously if you have Ignister and you have a bunch of Pendulum Summon monsters, and you don't want to like ruin your attack field, like if you have a lot of monsters you want to attack with, you can just use like a Dinomist in the Pendulum Zone. So you activate Pendulum Zone, Ignister, target, blow up, charge just gets it back to your hand, so you lost nothing. You don't lose your board presence, so that's just a very good combo. And then for the rest of the spells, we run 1 Twin Twister, 1 MST. I feel like this is enough back row removal because we run 2 Archfiend Eccentrics already. So between those, I feel like that's good enough. I don't want to run a 3rd back row removal because, you know, if you open up this plus, you know, this, it's just too much where you can't really do anything. You can't pendulum summon a lot, so you want to make it, the ratio is very consistent. So I feel like this is a good ratio here because you don't want to Twin Twister away your hand. You want to pendulum summon with them because you want to combo off. For the counter traps, we run Solemn Warning, 2 Scolding, and 2 Ultimate Providence. So that rounds up the counter traps. Very powerful with Ariana Grande paying them for you for free. And so, yeah, that rounds up the main deck. And let's go into the extra. So the extra deck is actually has a lot of room to be improved. So if I find better rank 4s to play, I do have 3 extra slots, but this is what I'm playing for now. 2 Gear Gigant X, 1 Magister Paladin, 1 Dweller, 2 Castell. I can take one of the Castell out because I feel like I don't think 2 would be necessary. 1 Rhapsody. This is also optional. Like, I don't feel like I really need it, but I do have the space, so that's why I play it. 1 Ragna Zero for Plesio combo. 1 Hope Draven. 1 Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. So basically, this is like a worse version of Utopia the Lightning, but it does have its perks. Like if it gets destroyed by battle or by card effect, I get to revive any. It's like a Monster Reborn for me, basically. Um, so most of the time I would just go lightning, but if for whatever reason I just want to be cute and I don't know, maybe revive Ignister that they killed, I guess I could do that, but usually he's just not necessary. So this guy, Rhapsody, and the second Cassell, I guess I could replace for something else if I find something. We run 2 Utopias for the 2 lightnings. It's very important to run the 2 lightnings because in a simplified game state, you often don't have the luxury of trying to summon 2 Exceed monsters at once. So if you try to summon Dweller to stop the Kozmo ships from floating, but you don't have anything to beat over them, it's kind of pointless. So for those simplified game states where you can only afford to make 1 extra deck monster, you would make lightning to attack over the ships. Because obviously, yeah, if I make Hope Draven Spider Shark, I mean, yeah, I can get over anything that they make except for the Dark Planet guy, but they're gonna be able to float. So unless I have this and the Dweller, then yeah, I can stop them from floating and also potentially get something back from the graveyard. But overall, obviously, sometimes you're not able to make 2 rank 4s in 1 turn if they, did stuff to stop you. So the double lightning is just there for that reason. And then we run the 1 Ignister and 1 Chimera Tech. So again, just 3 extra slots if I find something better. I mean, I thought about Trap Tricks for Fleesia, but I just don't want to run more traps in my deck to where I just draw too many traps and not enough pendulum comboing. So the side, we run 2 Cyber Dragon Drace, searchable by Gigant X, and I can just pendulum summon it, contact with their ships, very powerful move. Speedroid Menko is basically like a battle fader for machines. If they declare a direct attack, I can special summon this in face-up attack position, and all their monsters switch to face-up defense position. So it basically allows you to run over their monster, make Dweller, things like that. And it's a machine, so it's searchable by Gigant X. Then we run 3 Trap Stuns for against Demise decks or carded Demise floodgate decks. I prefer these over Decree because I don't want them to MST it. Then we run this guy. I guess I could replace this for something else I don't think is that great, but the main reason why I was playing this over Imperial Iron Walls was because Iron Wall doesn't stop their ships from attacking me, but basically with Iron Wall I have to preemptively activate it before they summon their pilot, because they'll just chain it if I activate it too late. But with this, their Dark Destroyers, their their Slip Rider can attack, but anything else that's level 6 or higher they can attack with, and their effects are negated. And 2 MSTs in the side, 2 Dark Holes for Monarchs or decks that just summon an unbreakable board. And then I've got 4 side deck slots, so definitely got some room to improve in this build. Just trying to fine tune it, tweak it to where I got answers for all the meta decks. Kozmos, I feel like, is my hardest matchup. Just in general, I feel like Kozmos is a very hard matchup for most decks in the meta. Even with playing with Monarchs against Kozmos, I feel like Kozmos generally has a better matchup because, I mean, Monarchs has that tendency to break more often, and also Kozmos do have answers to Monarch, Stormforce, and things like that. I mean, yeah, it's a very powerful play, but essentially it becomes like who opens what at that point. But I feel like Kozmos is just a little more consistent on getting a big board or just getting too much for the Monarch to answer. So Kozmos is definitely my hardest matchup. Monarchs is pretty simple. It's just domain builds, dark holes, MSTs, Archfiends, Eccentrics, Twin Twister, easy outs, and at the very least, I mean, I can always side in like I can always tribute summon the Dinomist Rex. So once I just tribute summon the Dinomist Rex, then I'm pretty much good to go. And also the Speedroid Manko switches all their Monarchs to defense. So I feel like Monarchs, I just have plenty of outs to them for the domain build, and the extra deck build is even easier, I feel. Burning Abyss, I feel like, yeah, they can float for days, but as long as they're not stopping me from playing, I feel like they're one of the easier matchups. Mermails, just have to stop them from OTKing me. And I feel like that's pretty much it. And Demise or Dark Carded Demise, just want to trap stun them so they don't stop me from playing. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, so if you have any suggestions of any particular matchups you think would, if you have any side deck cards you think would help against the Kozmo matchup, or against any other matchups I might have missed, just feel free to let me know, and let me know what you guys thought about my deck profile. Thanks.